Walk up onto the porch, through that screen door, down the hallway past all the family pictures that have been hanging there longer than I am old, and sit with me here at Granny Marble's kitchen table. That's right, the table I inherited in this old house from my Granny Marble and Granddad Marble. Let's sit here and eat a bite of lunch and take a look at the things that are affecting agriculture today. Neighbor, as we look across the region toward ag weather, we see that within the region today we'll have highs in Del Rio of 68, Rock Springs 61, Kerrville 63, Burnett 62, Austin 62, San Marcos 62, LaGrange 61, Cuero 63, San Antonio 63, Pleasanton 65, Uvalde 65, Eagle Pass 68. Neighbor, as we look toward tomorrow's ag weather, we'll see a low of 37 tonight and a high of a sunny 72 tomorrow. Our winds could get gusty in the afternoon, about 20. Now, neighbor, Hop Sing is just about ready to feed us a chicken fried steak and some jalapeno gravy, plenty of Nanny's yeast rolls, and a cold cucumber salad. I'll pour the iced tea, but first we need to check those commodities of ag interest. March corn, 528.5, up 11.25. March soybeans, 14.12 down 6. March soybean meal, $460.10 by the ton, down $5.30 by the ton. March Kansas City hard red winter wheat up 3/4 at $6.23 by the bushel. March number 2 cotton down 34 at 81.36. April live cattle down 60 at 117.05. March feeder cattle down 37 at 133.60. February lean hogs down 132 at 67.15. March U.S. dollar index up 211 points at 90.27. February West Texas Intermediate crude up 12 at 53.33. Neighbor, now it's time for Focus on Ag with the Farm Bureau's Carrie Martin. Carrie, we're talking cotton.
Pricing cotton in a La Nina year. I'm Carrie Martin with Focus on Agriculture on the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network. The La Nina weather pattern is one reason we're facing drought conditions in much of Texas. So what does that mean for cotton prices? Texas A&M cotton marketing specialist John Robinson says he studied the cotton market's behavior in La Nina years, and he's found that the market is usually at its highest in the spring.
It suggests that there's pricing opportunities, and the pattern of it may be that we have higher prices in the springtime. So, again, with 4 million bales of ending stocks, that drop year over year in ending stocks suggests to me that the whole December 21 range ought to be shifted higher, and growers ought to see some of the higher prices would be around the most uncertain times of the year, March, April, and May.
Robinson says the January to April time period in La Nina years tends to be a time of rising cotton prices.
It's not that different than the normal price pattern. You see your higher prices in the springtime when there's uncertainty about the acres and the crop establishment. You see lower prices around harvest time. But more specifically, the springtime rally in prices is very pronounced. It goes from about January to April.
And that gives cotton growers an opportunity to price the 2021 crop.
So to the extent people can forward contract or do some hedging on a reliable portion of production, which is hard to do in a drought year, those opportunities to sell at higher levels, to fix prices at higher levels, to hedge at higher levels are probably going to be earlier in the year. They're probably going to be before June.
Texas A&M cotton marketing specialist John Robinson.
When it comes to growing cotton, I'm looking for results. That's why I choose the Roundup Ready Extend crop system. The powerful combination of Bullguard 3 Extend Flex cotton and XtendiMax herbicide with Vapor Grip technology means I'm getting built-in pest protection and an increased spectrum of control of insects like bollworms and tobacco budworm on top of effective weed control. That adds up to stronger yield potential. In fact, Bullguard 3 XtendFlex cotton showed an 87 pound per acre advantage on average versus top-planted phytogen varieties. It's no wonder the Roundup Ready Extend crop system is the #1 choice for so many of us. For me, the choice is easy. I choose results. I choose the Roundup Ready Extend crop system.
Yield claims are based on 2017 to 2019 Bayer trials. XtendiMax is a restricted-use pesticide. Check with your state pesticide regulatory agency for specific restrictions in your state. Always read and follow IRM where applicable, grain marketing, and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
I'm Kerry Martin on the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network.
Neighbor, I can smell the chicken fried steak and jalapeno gravy, plenty of Nanny's yeast rolls, and a cold cucumber salad while I pour this iced tea Hop Sing is serving. He's serving Benny Cox, too. Benny's going to eat with us today. But first, Benny, tell us how the sheep and goat sale went in San Angelo at Producers and Cargyle.
We had another weather-shortened sale. You know, we had 3,400 last week. We had 2,622 yesterday. What we saw selling, these wool feeder lamb types, you know, those are certainly worked for going to the feed pen. We had some actually all the way from Utah, some big old things. Some of them weighed up to as high as 135, but they were sure enough lambs, good quality, and they sold all right. But the heavier weights, just, you know, this ethnic deal, after they get up 75, 80 pounds, if they don't have to, they kind of shy away from that stuff. But anyway, we saw those, and that was the most of the wool lambs. There was a pretty good little jag of them. They sell from $10 to $15 higher than what we saw last week. These slaughter hair lambs, gosh, I guess they were 10 to 20 higher on those lighter weights, with some of those heavier weights up $30 higher than they were last week. And it was so crazy then. I didn't know if that had ever happened again. Anyway, these slaughter ewes, we had a pretty good jag of those. A bunch of these ewes from around here. We had one big group that came off wheat that didn't lamb, and they were big old things. They sold mostly steady last week. Of course, it was awful good last week. Kid goats sell from 10 to 20 higher. Slaughter nannies from 140 to 212, mostly 180 to $2. These mature billies from 180 to 230, but most of them, you know, 210, 220. The wool feeder lambs that we did sell, that group of 135 pounders brought 160. We had some lightweights all the way up to 320, but most of those wool lambs that we've seen, even, you know, weighing up there 90 plus, bring from 220 up to around $3. The slaughter lambs, the light end of those hair sheep type, from 280 to 364, with the heavier weights, $2 to $338. The slaughter ewes, 90 to 128. But most of those old big things that I was talking about that came off that wheat, they weighed up there in that 180 to 190 pound range, and they bring from 104 to 106. That adds up pretty good. Kid goats sell from 250 to 388, mostly 330 to 370, with some of these feeders up to, I don't think we had any feeders over about that 390 mark, you know, of course, that old weather being bad, and we just didn't have a lot of those little light things. So.
Right. Good. I'm glad you had the numbers that you had on a cold weather kind of day and the prices that were brought. What do you think price and numbers is going to be like for the cattle sale?
You know, it looked better to Oklahoma City. The market did, and they had a tough go of it.
Yeah.
Monday a week ago. We got along real well. Thursday, I guess, kind of everybody got to thinking about it. But we've got a special calf sale slated. We're starting off. We hadn't got much on the yard at all. I suspect it's going to be, you know, it'll probably be shy of what it was last week. Last week we had over 1,200, and lots of those were calves. So it's yet to be seen. Hopefully we'll get over 1,000.
Tell everybody how to contact you, Benny.
They can call me on my mobile. It's 325-234-4277. Office, the same area code, 653-3371. Or they can always look at the web, which is producersandcargyle.com.
McCoys.com. McCoy's Building Supply. Still family-owned, strong, growing, and relevant for our ag community. With their own cattle ranches in West Texas, they understand the rural ag economy. Farm and ranch equipment, from working chutes and sorting pens to cattle panels and gates, T-post fencing and barbed wire. Shop online and find the store near you at McCoys.com. Neighbor, I'm going to send my cowboy crew on over to Caldwell, since they've already eaten their lunch, to help Carl Herman and crew get ready and put that sale on at Caldwell Livestock. Carl, before we talk about that, let's talk about that big snow you had.
I was, but it was, if you're as old as I am, I'm 64. You don't get to see that very often down in our part of the country. I think about 40 years ago, we had some, is what the records say. But anyway, it was nice and pretty, and it's good moisture. You know, last Wednesday we had about 2.5 inches of rain, and then we had 5 or 6 inches of snow Sunday. So we're in good shape on the moisture. We've got some cattle coming in. We had about 40 Hereford cows come in this morning, bred to Bremer bulls. The cows are 10, 11, 12 years old, but they've got good calves on them and bred back to Bramer bulls. We've had some groups of cattle come in. I'm looking for about 400 tomorrow.
Good deal. Carl Herman, Caldwell Livestock. Tell everybody what time you start and how to get a hold of you.
1 o'clock is when we start. My number's 979-820-5349. Call the barn, 567-4119. If you're in the Giddings and surrounding area, call Max Ebner at our receiving pens over there at 540-8676.
We appreciate it, Carl. We'll talk with you after the sale.
Yes, sir.
Neighbors announcing the 36th annual DeWitt County All-Breed Bull and Female Sale, Saturday, January the 30th, 2021. Cuero Livestock Commission Company bulls sell at 11, females immediately thereafter. Approximately 30 bulls and 250 females. Offering is as follows. In the bulls, Angus, Charolais, Brahma, Polled Hereford, Brangus, Red Brangus, and Beefmaster. Females featuring breds, pairs, and opens, F1 Brayford, Mini Tiger Stripes, Brangus, Brangus Baldies, Brahman, Angus, Hereford, Beefmaster, and other crossbreds. Sponsored by the DeWitt County Purebred Breeders Association and the DeWitt County Beef and Forage Committee. If you're unable to attend, you can view the cattle and bid at Cattle in Motion. That's cattleinmotion.com. For more information, 361-275-0816. Hey neighbor, here's a quick reminder from my friends at McCoy's. You know, Western Red Cedar can be used in a variety of applications from siding to decking, even as indoor paneling. For folks ready to tackle a DIY project, Red Cedar is a great choice for decks and play sets, particularly because of its naturally occurring thermal properties which keep the wood cooler to the touch. That's no small feat on a summer day in the McCoy's States of America. Check out the building plans and videos at mccoys.com and get started on your next DIY project using Western Red Cedar. Available at McCoy's Building Centers. Go to mccoys.com for information. Find the McCoy's store near you. Neighbor, taking a look at what pushed cotton prices yesterday. USDA raised its national average cash price by 3 cents to 68 cents per bushel. Yields were another 25 pound per acre lighter at 825. The biggest drops, 122 in Tennessee, 103 in Arizona, 68 in Oklahoma, 55 in Mississippi. Georgia's yields were finalized at 887 in pounds per acre. Texas at 627 in pounds per acre. The national production then dropped 1 million to 14.95 million. USDA raised its exports to 250,000 running bales. With lighter production and higher exports, ending stocks are 1.1 million bales lower than December at 4.6 million. Globally, stocks were 1.2 million bales lighter at 96.32. Neighbor, let's take a look at the grains courtesy of John Tuggle, 800-288-4453. Milo through Corpus in January, March plus 240, 1352. Houston, March plus 250, 1370. Progresso, 1250. Yellow corn through Corpus in January, March plus 45, 562.5. Progresso, 1040. Hard red winter wheat through Corpus in January, March plus 70, 692.5. Houston, March plus 95, 717.5. And Houston beans, January delivery, March plus 10, 1428.5. Placido, March less 60, 1358.5. 23,643 bale of Texas cotton sold yesterday, neighbor. Average price, as quick as I can figure, $78.82. We appreciate you listening to the Grains and Cotton. We appreciate you listening to Down on the Farm. Neighbor, thanks so much. Good day to you.